The ribbons for list apps are similar throughout SharePoint, and they differ from those for document libraries. Let's take a look at what's available for our list apps. This is our list of departments. Notice I can create a new item in the new group, and that will open the form that I use to create an item, which, as you may recall, has simply one text box on it. Once I've selected an item, as with the library, now other commands on the ribbon that are pertinent to one or more selected items light up. I have the ability, for example, to view the item, to edit the item, both of those in a form, because if I wanted to edit in bulk, I can do that by switching views. I can see who this item has been shared with, and I can delete an item. If the item allows file attachments, I could attach a file right here, and I can ask to be alerted to changes in this item. Notice that the tags and notes group is not enabled because that feature has been deprecated. And if I had a workflow already created that either ran manually or automatically when an item was new or an item was modified, or when the user said, I'm ready to do something with this item, let's now start the workflow. All of that activity, launching a workflow or seeing an automatically running workflow and where it is in the process, are available by clicking Workflows and going to the workflow page for the selected item. If I select multiple items, you'll notice I can no longer attach files, view items, or view the workflow page because those are on a per item basis. Let's take a look at the list commands. At the left-hand side, we have views, and we've been working with views extensively in libraries, very similar here in our lists, of course. So we know how to view the format, how to manage the views. Tags and notes, again, a deprecated feature. Eventually that will drop off of the ribbon, I'm sure. I can share and track this entire list. I can email someone a link to it. I can ask to be alerted when new items are added to the list or when items in the list are deleted or modified. I can go to the RSS feed for this list and subscribe to it. This list cannot be connected to Outlook. In a moment, we'll look at a list that can be, but this list and almost every list can be exported to Excel. And I get a nice table then. So if I want this list to go somewhere else, for example, SQL Server or even Microsoft Word, exporting it to Excel is a first step. I can open this list with Access, but I can't open it with Project because this is not a list type that is used in Project. If, however, I had a list of tasks, I would have a choice then to open it with Project. The next section, Customize List, is a little different than in a library because I can customize the forms that are used in this list with InfoPath. So when I create a form by setting up a new list, all of the text boxes, the sizes of them, where they're presented, is not necessarily beautiful. If I want a more elegant and therefore easier to use and therefore more professional looking form, I can customize the new document form, which is a blank form, and the edit document form, which is the form that we see as soon as we open an item for editing. You might not think about there being two different forms for that, but there really are. There are multiple forms that are used in each list, and those were created automatically for us by SharePoint, and we customize them in InfoPath. There is no new version of InfoPath for current versions of SharePoint. The newest version of InfoPath is InfoPath 2013, and it is supported. Microsoft has announced that they will support that for the next decade, so it will be supported through 2023. At the far right, we have list settings, the ability to add columns to the list, remove columns from the list, make some pieces of data in the list required, or even to delete the list if we wish. And we've jumped into library settings and list settings in prior movies in this course. I can see who this list has been shared with, and if I wish, I can then invite someone else to this list. And finally, if I want to create a workflow for this list, I can do that on Workflow Settings on the List tab of the ribbon, because this drop-down gives us the ability to add a workflow. If I open a contacts list, like SF Contacts, even though there's nothing in that list yet, it knows it's a contacts list, and it was created from the Contacts app, which allows connectivity to Outlook. Therefore, when I go to the list command, I have the ability to connect this list to Outlook. This is very powerful, and we're going to see this later in the course when we look at integration points between the Office applications and SharePoint. 2 ribbons, lots of choices. It feels a little complex at first, but as soon as you have clarity about whether you're trying to affect one item or affect an entire list, you will know where to go in the ribbon to be able to accomplish what you'd like to in SharePoint.